First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to the true and living power, which is Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, and there is no God beside them. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who definitely rule well, and honors and citations to the hopeful elect. So why did Yahweh Shai for blessing me? Allow me to do another lesson. This lesson is kind of like a because I was watching this brother's lesson here, this elder's lesson here, no tapping out, which is, he was getting into how it's going to get to the point where the comparison of, combat sports like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you got somebody in an arm bar or a rear naked choke, and you tap out to to release that agony, but the Lord is bringing the times where there is going to be no tapping out, and it's going to be straight breaking arms. And that really paints a beautiful picture of the fear of the Lord. That'll get you to fear the Lord. No tapping out. Yahweh Shemel Shai style. So Khan, and that was Khan, and not Khan. That's the spirit, because at our previous camp we went into the example in 70 AD, the excerpts from 70 AD, and how a woman, ate her child. A woman boiled her child. So we was getting into the horrific times that are coming. We were getting into examples of horrific times that the Lord brought, because the times that are coming are going to be even more horrific than any time that the earth has ever seen. So to get little examples of how bad things got, it should put the fear on you. And those were examples of no tapping out at that point. So it just all connects, And that's the spirit, because I was sitting here thinking about how we talked about that at camp. A woman boiling her son and eating her son. And that's what sparked this lesson, which I want to get into, and which I want to entitle The Pride They Had Before It Got to That Point. We can only imagine the pride they had before it got to that point, because even with the elder's lesson, no tapping out. If you say you get into a street fight and somebody, no tapping out, I'm choking you out. That means that, could possibly mean, the speculation. Well, and through our example, say somebody that has a sane mind, and who's stable, but you pushed him to the point, and that's how about Shemel Shai. The Lord is stable, of course. But if you push somebody that's stable to the point of no tapping out, that means you really, 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 you was really doing some shit. You was a threat. Like you left him no choice. Like you pulled a knife. You was acting crazy. You was being chaotic, man, and you had to get put down. And that comes also with pride. But all in all, I'm getting to the scriptures. All in all, you only can imagine The pride that these people had before it got to that point. The pride that these people had that made it build up to that point. Because Yahweh Shema Shai doesn't put you in a position where you're left but to eat your child because he's bored. He didn't put you in that position because he doesn't have nothing better to do. He put you in that position because you were being that evil, that wicked, that rebellious, that prideful, and you was being so evil and so opposite to what the Lord deemed as righteousness, and we know that righteousness pleases the Lord. So once again, the pride they had before it got to that point. And of course, this is useful for today because we're creeping up the same avenue as far as a nation. So anyway, this is Second Kings, but you know the whole full is going to be separate this time. This is 2 Kings chapter 6. And I'll start at 24. And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts, meaning all his army, and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. Salaki. Khan. So it says, then there was a bad famine. We're reading easy English. Then there was a bad famine in the city. Okay. Which Samaria, going into Samaria. It says the army stayed all around the city for so long that a donkey's head cost 80 shekels of silver, and a quarter of a liter of seeds cost 5 shekels. While the king of Israel was walking past on the wall of the city, okay, a woman shouted to him. So you can see he's on the wall of the city. On the outside of the city are the Syrians. On the inside of the city, okay, is his people, the Israelites. And the woman came and shouted to him, "Help me, my master the king," she said. The king replied, "Do not shout to me for help. Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, must help you, because I cannot help you." Whoo. That sounds like how we gonna be to these people. Oh, you got food? Help, help. Oh, help. Can't. Pray to your God for help, because I cannot help you. See? And it's going to get to that point. But right now, we don't have that power right now. We're the ones suffering while they the ones with the power. The women have the power of the man they want to choose. Not even that, like, because what's wrong with want to choose? You know, right now you could choose, whoever you want, as long as you're single. But what I mean is, pick and choose. They choose him for 3 months and then jump to another dude. 2 months, jump to another dude. A year, jump to another, commit adultery on this dude. Like, so I guess to them that's power. Just ninjas, they feel they have power because they have money, because they have an entourage. So they have a fake simulation of a false power, while we the ones cleaving to righteousness and suffering for it. But the tables are going to turn. All right. Now they're the ones that are going to be powerless. Okay, running to us, asking us for help. So we just gotta hold out and stay down. And the more we in the spirit, the better off we could be. Verse 28. Then he asked her, "What is the matter?" He said, "There is no flour and no wine." Then he asked her, "What is the matter?" She answered, "This woman who was with me spoke to me. She said, 'Give to us your son, that we can eat him today. Tomorrow we will eat my son.'" And that shows they not looking to save. They looking to eat to the full until they can eat to the full for the next time. Like, and it's sad, you know, we're talking about babies, sons. And they're not looking to have it sparingly. They're so hungry, they just want to devour. And then they're still pulling tricks on each other. Like, it's crazy, but you only can imagine, once again, the pride they had before it got to this point. Because you had prophets warning them. You know, I believe Isaiah was a prophet to the northern kingdom. I'll have to get into again with a couple of them. So, and even in 70 AD, you know, Yahushua was warning of the horrible times that was getting ready to come, because look at the pride they had. Let their blood be upon us and our children, they said about Yahushua. Look at that pride. Look at that disgusting pride. You know? And we see firsthand the pride that they have now before it's getting to this point. So it says, so we cooked my son and we ate him. The next day I said, "Give your son to us so that we can eat him." But she had hidden him. See? Now let's go into pride. Let's get let's get the one scripture. See? Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. See? So pride leads to destructive environments for you personally, and then for us as a nation. But that's why it says, verse 19, "Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud." But remember, the Lord said he kept a cluster of grapes. All right, to continue to follow him and continue to be humble and continue to do the things that please the Lord. So that cluster of grapes that he kept is going to be kept from the destruction to come. Because pride leads to destructive environments. That's destructive. You know, boiling your son. Let's see what Easy English says. "A man may think he is great, he will really destroy himself in the end." See? That's another form of destroying yourself. You eating your son, you got to live with that forever. And you know spirits come onto you when you enter into cannibalism. "A man may think that he is better than everyone else." Come on, is that not this place here? Especially with the addition of social media. I got 40 likes. How many likes you got? You only got 6 likes. And just because of some damn likes, they think they better than somebody else, man. Yahweh Shai hates that type of behavior, man. A man like that will soon fall. So, you know, let's get another one. Gotta watch that pride, yo. Imagine the pride they had before it led to that fucking moment. Sirach 10 and 12. And there's a billion scriptures on pride. Sirach 10 and 12, the beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High. See? We know that the Lord will wreck shit up. Because the Lord flooded the earth. He burned down Sodom and Gomorrah. We know the Lord will tear shit up. Right? That's why the scriptures say, abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So we abide under the Lord's fear. Under the Lord's grace and mercy. But when you depart from that, you depart from that when you begin to act prideful. Now the Lord no longer wants to show you grace or mercy or favor or help or protection or anything or growth. Now you're making yourself an enemy to the Lord. And his heart is turned away from his maker. So you begin to depart from the Most High. And when you depart from the Most High, you make yourself an enemy. That's why the Lord said, yes, you can make yourself an enemy to the Lord if you didn't know that. This is James 4 and 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High. So you begin to make yourself an enemy of the Most High when you act in prideful manners. And once the pride of the nation and the wickedness of our nation reaches a certain point, boom, the Lord brought a siege to the city of Samaria, which is the capital of the northern kingdom. And now within the city is nothing but fucking horrificness. And it was your pride and among your culture, wickedness and sin, of course, first and foremost, that brought those calamities upon you. So we see it manifesting again before our eyes, and the earth is so prideful in this day and age because knowledge has increased with technology, that it's reaching more, it's expanding more, it's doing more, and the Lord is getting ready to, pay out for it. So, Lord, on this edifying, and with that, I'm gonna say shalom.